what is in the public interest is a matter that requires deep insight and discretion when we apply our own minds, to the extent that there is discretion, which in this case there is none. But let me say that broadly the matter of public interest does not stand uncontested. Public interests often compete. And as I mentioned earlier on, clearly when the legislators drafted the Tax Administration Act, it did consider the issue of public interest. And in considering that, drafted the law clearly expressing the view that the confidentiality of a taxpayer information is an overriding public interest than whether or not we disclose a matter that may generally be newsworthy. And so for me, it in fact does respond to the matter of public interest, but not necessarily in the way that certain constituencies may understand it. But certainly our understanding is that Amanda Visser or any other person has an equal right in law for their personal information as relates to their tax matters to be treated with utmost care, diligence, and privacy. And we will give you the honor and every other taxpayer the same honor.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, it's Govan. My apologies for arriving late. Commissioner, has SARS ever received a subpoena from the Public Protector's Office in the past? And if not, it hasn't, or if it has, how has that happened?
I mentioned earlier on before you came, Govan, that the request for information, taxpayer information by the Public Protector's Office has been, is a matter that has historical precedence, and our reaction is exactly the same. This is, to my knowledge, the first time that the Commissioner of SARS is subpoenaed to provide such information.
And then I may have missed this as well. You say that there's specific provisions in law that allow for taxpayer information to be disclosed, and one of those is if the taxpayer gives written consent. I don't know what the protocol is, but has SARS asked the individual taxpayer for whose information has been requested if he will give written consent, or is that not something that you can do?
That is not how we would work. A taxpayer may be approached by any third party. If that third party believes that it is in their interest to have such information, we do not act as agents of any other agency who may feel they have the right to information. So no, we would not, in this instance or any other instance, seek a taxpayer's consent.
Commissioner Malungelo Boy from Newsroom Africa, I want to quote something you said, that you and
Sorry, where are you? Oh, here you are.
one of the things, you actually said this twice, that SARS and the Public Protector's Office, you're on the same side, you want people to do the right thing. And I just want to get clarity as then, why then would you seek a cost order against the Public Protector if she opposes your case?
Let me be frank about that, Malungelo, because firstly, I referred to a goodwill engagement that said, before we go off and incur legal cost and spend taxpayers' money, let's sit around the table and talk. So I've reached out my hand, and I don't want to make this a personal issue between the Commission and the Public Protector. This is about our two institutions, firstly. Secondly, in receiving the subpoena, we made a second in writing appeal that because we have chosen to seek clarity of a legal principle, the Public Protector, it was within the Public Protector's right to withdraw the subpoena until we have legal clarity. And so it is in that context that I've been advised that there is a basis for making the cost audit the way we did. I think all of us who hold public office have an extremely important privileged position of trust, and in the application of our own acts and laws, regardless of who we are, we have personal accountability for how we administer them.
Any other question? Yes, ma'am.
It's me again. Earlier in your statement, Commissioner, you mentioned that there are certain people who seek to undermine the work that is being done by SARS. I'm trying to read exactly what you said out here, but who are still serving the past regimes, if I may summarize roughly, people in and out of the service. What sort of steps have you taken to address that? Because it seems like a very serious thing if it's happening right now, given what the Nugent Commission said, and you've insisted on implementing the recommendations of the report, yet you come out today and say there are these forces inside and outside who seem to destabilize the work that you're doing.
Well, so firstly, let me clarify what I said. I said that my sense is that there are still people within SARS and outside of SARS, current and former employees, who still seek to undermine our work, who still serve the corrupt intent, who are still captured. And I say that unequivocally. And I say that because of what I experience. And so what have I experienced? I experienced that I have a confidential conversation in a meeting room with 2 or 3 people, and a few days later I get questions from journalists so specific that they could only have got that by being in the room or somewhere that information have leaked into the public domain. Secondly, go and read the Twitter sphere. And some people, by disguise, under aliases, because they don't have the courage to speak in their own name, they make false claims and accusations. They lie blatantly. And in the way they throw little nuggets of information suggests that they have SARS confidential information. Now, they only get that SARS information because they themselves are current or former employees of SARS, or they have access to current or former employees of SARS. So you don't have to be take much to draw the conclusion that sadly, SARS, as is the case with many other organs of state, still is experienced a pushback, a fight back. But that's common cause. That not everyone is currently supportive of the work against state capture. There are still those who are in denial about it. And I'm very clear that if you're currently in denial about it, you're either complicit or you are ignorant and indifferent about it, that you don't really care. Because this is a matter, Sibongile, that affects you and me and all of us equally. And so it is on that basis that I said, I have the sense. Now, who are they? Well, if they use aliases, as they do, if they disguise themselves as they do, then it is hard to identify who they are. What I am confident in is that eventually they disclose themselves. They show their own hand. And then the law will take its course.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other question? If there is no question, any additional question, thank you very much. Thank you for coming through, and thank you, Commissioner, and your team for the clarity that has been provided. The press conference is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mentioned the matter.
Sorry.
But it was never exercised. Okay. So you asked earlier on whether SARS, I think Govan asked whether SARS had earliestly been served with subpoena. I'm informed that in October last year, the then acting commissioner was served with subpoena, but then it was never followed through. Okay. But then the matter went quiet for about a year until it has now resurfaced. Yes. I think the initial, Govan, the initial subpoena resulted in the decision to do a joint briefing to legal counsel for the legal opinion.
Thanks, colleagues. Unless there's anything additional. Thank you, colleagues. Thanks very much. Thanks to everyone. Yes, I was just asking if there's
I would like to do a question, please.
Sorry.
Yeah. Are you completely dead? You're gonna survive. Fuck is a lot.
Gavin, you will